Act 43, House Bill 545.
I think we circulated to everyone a copy of what is now Act 43, had been referred to. I know Commissioner Anderson had requested we include House Bill 545 on the discussion agenda, and we have done that. The governor did sign what has become an amendment to Act 96, the county pension law, and it provides for basically, without getting into the detailed monologue here about the bill, basically provides for parity between county employees' pension benefits and state employees, which would include your court administrators, which are state employees, your district justices, your judges, common plea judges. And the bill, one thing, the mandatory provisions, you chime in here, Diane, because you're as familiar with it, I think, as I am, does provide for a 5-year vesting period for county employees. Previously that had been 8 years, and that's consistent now. We now have consistency between the county plan and ERISA. ERISA plans for many, many years have had a 5-year vesting period. The other optional provisions in the Act allow for a county pension board to increase the class basis, which had been capped at what we call the 1/60th basis, which means essentially that an employee's pension is calculated at 1.67%, the reciprocal of 1/60th. Now creates 2 additional class bases analogous to what the state has. The 1/50th and the 1/40th class basis. All state employees now, school teachers, community college employees, are at the 1/40th class basis, which means 2.5% of your final salary. It also includes, again, consistent with the Act, the provisions for state employees, the retro feature.
And that retro feature would be anyone who would retire after the effective date of when we adopt this. Not everybody who is on retirement, is that correct?
Right. It would be with the effective date of adoption. What that does mean, there would be employees who, if there's not adoption or action taken, then there would be a stretch of time where they would essentially fall through the cracks.
Right. And we have 12 months to adopt this, but
yeah, that's the other. Maybe you want to touch on that.
The 12 months to adopt it. However, I am of the opinion that the sooner we take action on this in one way or the other, the better it would be. And not sit on the fence for too long because of the people that are employed by the county who are planning on retirement, and we could be impacting their potential retirement date on what we may do. So if we put our stake in the ground and know where we're standing, then that is fair to them. So I really think that we need to do something early on. I know that a lot went to get the governor to sign this, and to make it parity with the other factions of the state that are at the 1/40th class right now. We sit on the board as trustees for those folks that work for the county, and we need to think about what their interests are down the road. I know some folks, after retiring from the county, seek out health care benefits, and we don't provide those. But perhaps through this effort, but if we were to adopt the provisions of this Act 43, we could give them a little more so that they could then purchase these health care benefits out of pocket, because that's a big concern for a lot of retirees, to be able to have the accessibility and the ability to affordable health care. And this could help mitigate that expense. And so we don't provide after retirement health care benefits. So that's something we want to think about too.
Yeah, I have personally opposed providing post-retirement medical benefits because of the unbudgetability of it.
Right.
You don't know what that's going to cost. There's also some accounting rules that are going to change here in the next few years that are going to make it having said that, according to Norm Pickering, approximately half of the Pennsylvania counties give their employees some type of post-retirement medical benefit above and beyond what they would get through the county pension.
And this would be, I believe, would be more manageable for the county as opposed to just saying we're going to provide health care benefits, because we're at their mercy in order, in paying that. But this is something that we can manage. It's much more manageable. We know that our rate would be, let's say, 2.5%, and we could manage to that.
I think one of the things, trying to get an early bird contract up next year, they kind of broke down. One of the big issues was, post-employment benefits, and you're right, not knowing that cost and experience. So that's one thing maybe with the contracts coming out this year with negotiations that we'd be able to use something like this as far as negotiating some of the things that the commissioners are looking for.
What costs do we know? What is
Well, the costs are measurable. They would be calculated by our actuary.
Right.
Essentially, right now, I'll give you an example. Here would be, and it's going to be a real simple one. Let's just say you're a district justice. Okay, I'm using $50,000. I think their salary's a little higher than that. Okay, they're a state employee. This would apply to, we've lost a lot of employees in this building that are now state employees that ride in the elevator with us, but they're state employees. But just assume that their salary is $50,000 annually, okay? And assume that they retire and they have 10 years service, okay? I'm going to do the example with a state employee now. It's 50,000 times 10 years times 2.5%, okay? Which means 25% of $50,000. So that works out to $12,500. And that's just the county portion. The money that they're putting in themselves, just like the money that you're in, the 9%, will also become part, but that's your own personal. But this is the county, or this is the state calculation, okay? Your calculation for you as a county employee, and again, I'm using $50,000, is 50,000 times 10 years times 1.67%, okay? There's a significantly lower benefit that you as a county employer are earning, because that's simply, you can just do the math, it's 16.7% times 50,000 versus 25% times 50,000. It's 50% more they're earning each day they come in toward that, and the state has a retro provision too. So if you increase a benefit by 50%, in theory, the liability for those two line items in the actuarial report is going to go up. Now, does everybody, work long enough to reach retirement age and take that benefit? Of course not. A lot of people come and go, and their liabilities go away. The whole point of, and I think probably the best incentive is to attract and retain good people so they stick around. I think that was the state's argument back then. But right now what we have is a dichotomy in benefits. You've got people, we all see these people every day. They're working side by side. My people see them, work with them, and they're making they're accruing each day they come in here a retirement benefit that's 50% higher than their co-workers. They also, as state employees, enjoy some other rather lucrative benefits when they retire, which is post-retirement medical. I believe do Jim, the state employees get post-retirement medical. So they're even